Many years ago on this program, we got a call from a homeless man in New Jersey. We were living in New York City while he was living in his van in a parking lot. He called us on the air one day, and we put him on. We put him on not because he was a homeless guy or anything else, but because he was one of the clearest voices we had heard. He knew who he was. He knew where he had been. He knew where he was going. And he knew who we were as a nation. He was not ashamed of where he was in his life. He didn't want a handout. He wanted work. When we moved to Texas, he moved too. He said, you know what? There's got to be more opportunities in Texas than there are in New Jersey. And he got into his van and he went to a friend and he said, can you help me fix up my van so it will make it all the way to Texas? And he couldn't afford to get across Texas, and he wouldn't take a dime from anyone. And so he went on YouTube and he asked people, I'm going to be taking this direction. I will clean out chicken coops. There is no job beneath me. I will clean out chicken coops if I have to. Who can help me make it to Texas? When he arrived to Texas, he no longer lived in his van, and he worked hard. He volunteered for our service projects. He just wanted to make it down for our stadium event called Restoring Love. Not so he could be in the crowd, but so he could be out volunteering and working hard. He volunteered a year later for our museum opening here in the studios. Early this summer, we got a call that he was sick and he only had hours to live. It is the first time that every single member of this show got together and did something for a listener together, all of us. We have done things together before, but not all of us. Never at the same time. When all of us dropped what we had going on, and none of us had to say, come on, let's go, come on, you gotta go. We all just knew we had to be there. All of us rushed to his hospital bed. Scooter wasn't just a listener. He honestly is a lot like you. I don't know if the average listener feels this way or the casual listener, but we truly feel as though we're family. I've never, in my 35 years of doing broadcast, I've been doing this since I was 13 years old, I have never had a closer relationship with an audience than this one. I have never loved an audience more than this one. I have seen you. I have heard you. I have read your messages. I have heard your voices. We have been through good times and bad times. I truly feel I know you. I truly feel I can trust you. And I truly love you. When we walked into the hospital, we walked down the hall, and I think I was the first to arrive. And I stood just outside of his door, and I saw him in there with his son, and he was giving his son end-of-life instructions. His son turned, and he saw me in the hallway, and he began to cry. I wasn't sure if those were tears of joy or something else, because his son is from the Northeast and is, not, quite honestly, not a fan of our politics and certainly not a fan of us at all. But they were tears of joy because he loves his father, and he knew how much our visit would mean to his dad. And he also knew that his dad was right, that this isn't a business for us. We have a heart for our listener. We love Scooter as much as he loved us. I'd found out that his son was getting married in 3 weeks, and Scooter was told that he wasn't going to make it 3 days. He asked Pat and I if we could give him a blessing. Pat and I, in our faith, we're both priesthood holders. I say that shamefully now because how you might view priesthood holders. They're usually better men than we are. But we anointed him with oil and we prayed for him. We prayed for him, with him, and over him. Now, 3.5 months later, after his son was married, something that he so wanted to be there for and see, we got a call that Scooter had gone home. It has truly been a great experience for all of us to get to know this man. There have been a few listeners that have died recently, far too young. I read about them on Facebook. When I hear about them, I try to send flowers or a note. Occasionally, I will call when somebody has lost a spouse. I think we're greatly diminished by Scooter's passing. Although the ranks of those who watch over us will now swell with a valiant warrior. As I said to him before I left his bedside, Scooter, when you are called home, your job has just begun. Because there's a lot of work left to do here. And we can use all the help from the other side we can get. Scooter L.T. Jolly. It's rare that we meet a man of your integrity, your work ethic, your spirit. We were blessed to know you. Thanks, pal.